Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the show where we interview the nation's leading real estate entrepreneurs and those that serve the real estate industry. It's your host, Stephen Schmidt. And I know I say this quite often, but you guys are in for an absolute treat today. I got Dez Pena in the house here in the studio, otherwise known as the trillionaire woman. I'll let her divulge if she would like to on where she got that nickname from, which is amazing. But she's an absolute wizard when it comes to wealth generation and helping business owners preserve and grow their wealth, utilizing things that they otherwise might not think about, things that sometimes, in most cases, only billionaires use. So again, it's your host, Stephen Schmidt. If you're joining us for the second, third, or 100th time, welcome back. I know you're going to get a ton of value from this show. And if it's your first time, well, let's just say you're about to become a regular listener of the series here. So we're going to get right into it, and we're going to go all over, and we're going to talk about her experience, and especially about how leveraging credit is one of the most important things that you need to have on lock in order to be investing in real estate yourself. So before we get started, just remember, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, and real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their businesses, which allows them to build the businesses they've always wanted, to allow them to live the lives they've always dreamed of. And with that being said, Dez, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Stephen. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. I'm really excited for our conversation today. Before we kind of go into some of the nitty-gritty about credit and real estate investing and investing in general, because I think we're going to kind of go all over the place here today, give us a little bit of background on you, how you got started in this space, how you became a wealth advisor, and how you got to where you're at now today.
Absolutely. So just for clarification, I'm not a tax specialist. I'm not a financial attorney. This is strictly for educational and information purposes only.
It's for entertainment, folks.
For entertainment. And basically how I got started in this space, originally finance was not my primary industry. I originally was in the health field. I worked at the hospital for about 6+ years. And then once COVID came around, I needed to pivot because I like to spend a lot of time with my family, and some of them are elderly, and the last thing I wanted to do was get anyone sick. So I ended up quitting that job and then getting into trading. So a friend introduced me to this MLM where I got education about how to trade crypto and how to trade foreign exchange currencies. And then I was hooked. But, as gambling is, because sometimes that can be gambling if you don't know what you're doing, I literally end up exactly where I started. So I invested all this money and I ended up back at zero by the end of the year. And I said, you know what, maybe this isn't for me. And one of the people I had brought on had invited me to start a credit repair company. And upon this credit repair company, the needs of my clients grew as they grew. So we fixed their credit. Then they wanted financing for their business. Some of them didn't even have a proper business structure set up. For example, the LLC, the EIN, the DUNS, the phone number, everything. And I needed to insert that service in there in order to get them the financing that they needed, some of them being for real estate projects. Honestly, one of my favorite stories, if I could share a story now, that would be awesome.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
We had a female, let's just say her name is Jennifer for confidentiality purposes. She was living in the basement of her uncle's house with her husband and her 2 kids in the Bronx. Fast forward, after we fixed her credit 1 year later, she had purchased her first home. I fixed her and her husband's credit. She purchased her first home and she was able to get funding. And that's when she renovated the basement to a commercial kitchen because she loved cooking. And she didn't just buy a single primary family home in Yonkers. She bought a 3-family. So while she was living in one, she rented out the other 2 units as per my recommendation. And she went ahead and made the bottom basement a business. Then she got a contract, a government contract, to provide school lunches to the kids in Yonkers because she was so infuriated with the school system's, lunches that they had because she didn't feel like it had enough nutrition. And so she literally did a complete 180 over a span of 2 years just by working with me. And then those clients who continue to develop a little bit more and let's say start acquiring more assets under their belt, that's when we reanalyze the structure that they have to help them primarily save on taxes utilizing private trust.
That's awesome. That's such a great story too.
Yeah, I love the transformation. It's just, you got to stick with it long enough. Same in real estate. It's a patience game. It's a resilience game. You can't just expect something to happen overnight.
I totally agree with that. And let me ask you this, who do you really enjoy working with now? Is it stories like this, or what's like the long-term vision with what you're building?
The long-term vision eventually is going to go back to my roots of health. Another reason why I ended up quitting the hospital was because I did not feel like I was healing anyone. I felt like I was just putting a Band-Aid on the problem, not really helping solve for the root cause. And I didn't want to be part of a system who just kept people sick, I wanted to make sure that they could actually heal from their ailments or illnesses. So I've been studying holistic medicine. I actually did a portion of my master's in holistic health, leadership in holistic health. So that way, eventually, I can honestly just reprogram the way that families operate health within their family unit. So I'm in finance now to build up to be able to fund myself a very large project that will eventually rival McDonald's. And instead of people saying that they want to go to McDonald's to eat, they're going to want to go to my store because it's healthier and you want to do what already works. And I do know that McDonald's is a real estate business first and not so much a food industry because they're actually a franchise and they own all the lots that they build upon. And then they have a franchise fee on top of that. So their model is absolutely incredible. And if you want to do something big and impactful, then
if you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Going towards that avenue of doing what already works is going to be your best bet and actually succeeding. So I definitely want to, right now I'm in finance, I make money, I go ahead and invest my money primarily still in the finance space, but eventually that'll be in a company that will rival McDonald's and people will want to go to my store rather than McDonald's. And you do that through programming. You have to build an ecosystem when you're building any business. So, for example, you have your primary business. Most of the time, you'll also need marketing. So you have to have a marketing system or team developed. If you're not going to build it in-house, you'll have to hire out-house for that. In addition to that, you also need a financing sector. You need to track every single dollar that is coming in, or else it's just going to disappear into the abyss and you'll never know what happened to it. After that, you need actual proper structure in order to make sure that whatever you have built thus far is protected. Because if you can't do that, then it can easily be taken away by the courts, by a client who wants to sue you, by a spouse, and it's all gone. So you have to think about all these things. And when you actually build an ecosystem, that's when your fortress cannot be penetrated.
100%. Well, folks, if you've listened to my shows before, you know that it usually happens where we say we're going to talk about something and then we go off on a completely different tangent, and that's what the whole show is focused on. I'm going to try not to do that here, but Dez, if it happens, it happens. So something that's very interesting that you brought up, which doesn't happen for a lot of people. I think most people that get into the healthcare space do it for the exact same reasons as you do, and they say, oh, well, I'm going to go help people. And most of them, I'd say probably the 90%, even more than the Pareto principle of the 80-20, I'd say 90% of the people don't realize they're in a system that's a complete lie. And you figured that out. You're going into the holistic health route. I've had the great fortune of connecting with a lot of holistic doctors myself, and very natural-minded in my own approach to health and all of that. Good friend of mine, Dr. Hoffman, I was just hanging out with here a few days back. He's somebody that was a traditional doctor, but found that somehow in the 40 years of his practice. And how did you come to figure that out? Very rare someone does that. And then what is, obviously I don't think you want to give too much details on your health company yet. That's still in the works. But what derived a passion for you to actually want to pursue that as like a long-term, real big business for you?
That primarily stemmed from me, I would say probably the health space in general. I was interested in by the time I was 13. I have a little brother. I have multiple little brothers, but the first one I ever got, he actually was born prematurely. And when he was born prematurely, he had to go through occupational therapy so that way he can write, so he can zip up zippers, because he would get very frustrated that he couldn't do these things. And that's what kind of inspired me to go into the health field and potentially pursue occupational therapy. By the time I was 18, I was like, I don't know if I can do this occupational therapy because it's too slow. I'm from New York, so I love running around. I always have to be on go, and working in the ER, because that's where I actually started. I was an emergency department tech. I was saving people's lives, doing CPR, healing gunshot wounds, doing the primary vital check. I was the one that had the most interaction with the clients. So I developed a lot of empathy for it. And then I didn't wake up to the realization that this was simply a system that you get stuck in until I was already 6 years in working for them. And I literally had to change what I did first. So I had to change the foods that I was consuming, because you are eating all these dyes, you're eating all this processed food, and what it's actually doing is capping your ability to think at a full capacity. And you're likely not getting enough oxygen in your brain either, because you're not moving. Your blood is stagnant when you're sitting down all day because you don't go for walks, you don't get your 7K, 10K steps in. And when I started making these micro changes to myself, that's when I was able to think more clearly. So everything starts with what you put in your mouth, really. So you are what you eat, and that is a very tried and true phrase that I live by, simply because it'll show. It'll show on your skin, it'll show in your teeth, it'll show in your nails. So all of these different hints that your body's trying to give you, but you're just not noticing them, is how you can pay attention to it just a little bit better and start doing research on what you can do to heal yourself. And I've done that for my family as well. So my grandmother had type 2 diabetes. I found a functional medical practitioner who was also affiliated with a nutritionist. I brought her there every single week or every other week when she had appointments. And I said, we're doing this and we're going to do it right. And we reversed her diabetes in 3 months, sorry. And so since then,
if you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
she's been keeping up with that regime of making sure that she's keeping it under management. And she literally switched from metformin and these heavy medications to simple supplements. Guys, what are in these little pills, they're actually herbs. And if you just take the herbs in your teas, you can heal yourself naturally. Obviously, if you have a doctor and you have a serious condition, stick with your doctor, but don't think that those are your only options. Get other options from functional medical practitioners, holistic health practitioners, because those are the people that are actually going to get to the root cause of the problem and help you heal instead of putting a Band-Aid on it.
Because most people just want to feel a little bit better and they'll do whatever it takes to feel better, not actually solve the problem, right?
Sometimes you got to do the hard things. Like, did my grandmother want to go on walks every day? No. Did she want to work out twice a week? No. These things are hard. Did she want to eat her favorite foods but couldn't? Yeah, of course she did. But she wanted to see her future grandkid, alive first before passing away. She wanted to be able to see her great grandson. And right now she has, her grandson from her youngest son. And now he's here. He's 1 year old. My grandma's still alive and in good health. So she got to actually meet her goal. But that's how you have to have a strong enough why. And that's in anything you do. That can be in business, that can be in health. You have to have a reason why you are doing the things that you're doing, because if your reason isn't strong enough, you're going to give up.
100% agree on all counts. And if I don't get us back on track, we're going to talk about this for like 6 hours, which I would gladly do with you.
I would too.
Super big passion of mine as well. So let me ask you this. What are some of the things that go into credit that people that are looking to invest in real estate don't actually realize about their current profile? Or maybe they're about to buy their first home, having kind of a interesting brain noodle moment here on trying to figure out how to ask this question in the most effective way, but hopefully you got something out of it. Maybe just speak on that.
Follow the breadcrumbs. So regarding first-time home buyers or people who are interested in getting into their first investment project, you're going to obviously eventually go to a loan with a lender, and that'll primarily be a bank. If you're not already getting the money from a family friend or a hard money investor that has up the wazoo rates, you need to make sure that your report card reflects that you're a responsible borrower in order to get these approvals. So that report card is going to be your credit report. And your credit report, I'm going to give you all the secrets of exactly what they're looking for when you're getting approved for a mortgage and how to actually boost your report card in order to make sure that you can get approved, because that's the primary goal. It's not about making sure you have a great number on there. It's about making sure that the number that you have on there is able to get you into the position that you want to be in. So credit is awesome, but credit isn't going to do anything if you don't have a vehicle to be able to leverage that credit into. And one of the favorites is definitely real estate, which is why I'm here today with you. Thank 100%. You so much, Steve.
Yeah,
and here's a little bit of a breakdown. So one, we want to make sure that we only have one name file on our personal credit report. That means on TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, because those are the primary 3 credit agencies. A lot of people don't know that these are not credit bureaus. The only credit bureau is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and the agencies are your TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. Those are the top 3. Obviously, there are many smaller credit agencies, but we'll just speak about those three. You want one name file on there. You want to have only one address reporting on your credit report because they're easily able to find you. Imagine you're in the position of the lender, of the bank, and you see 20 different addresses on there because you're hopping around from place to place every 1 year or 2 years. And now let's say there's a bill that you haven't paid and the lender doesn't know where to send that bill to. That's what makes you look like a high-risk lender. And these are the flags, a high-risk borrower. And these are the flags that the lenders are looking out for before giving you any type of money. It doesn't matter that the house is collateral. It doesn't matter if you can provide even more collateral outside of that. They want to know that you are someone that they can trust is going to pay them back. So another thing on there that we should have are about 7 trade lines. And now there's a difference between primary trade lines and authorized user accounts. These 7 different accounts, these are just accounts that report on your credit. That's what trade lines are, accounts that report on your credit. And we want multiple different types of accounts that'll provide a healthy mix. One of them can be credit cards. One of them can be loan. Another one we can have in our mortgage section, because there is a mortgage section of our credit report where we can actually report our rent. So we want rent payments. For example, you can go to rentalkarma.com, you can go to Rent Reporters, you can go to Boom Pay, and all of these different rental reportings are going to help you increase your credit score, but also show the people who are about to lend you a mortgage that you are responsible and capable of paying back $3,000 a month, $5,000 a month, however big your project is going to be. Now, this definitely comes more into play on the person who's only going to buy a primary home. If we're talking about a multifamily, which I'll get into a little bit later, then you can obviously apply for a DSCR loan, or if you're going to do commercial property that's bigger than 4 units, you can also use a DSCR loan. And in which case, they're primarily looking at the available cash flow that will come in once you have tenants in the property. And also, I'm sure there are a couple of government loans as well, like a 203K loan that'll help you build from the ground up. But going back to our primary people who are borrowing for the use of a primary residence or for their first investment property that they're going into, we're going to continue on with having a couple of credit cards. Ideally, each of these credit cards have about a $5,000 limit or more, and you would work your way up towards that. So if you're 18 and you haven't started building your credit card yet, go and apply for at least 3 different credit cards and get approved for it. So that way you can show that you are building this credit over time, because by the time you're 28 years old, you'll be eligible for having an 800 credit score. Because one of the tricks to getting an 800 credit score is actually having a primary account that is in your name that is 10 years old. And that's the little thing that'll take you over the edge. If you don't have any primary credit cards, definitely get one. But you can also fulfill this need by having someone add you as an authorized user on their card. You would typically ask a friend or a family member, say, hey, I'm simply trying to build my credit. I don't need the credit card. When it comes in the mail, please cut it up, throw it away. But I simply want this on my credit report because I'm trying to get approved for a house, but I don't have enough credit history here. And in order to get that authorized user on your card, that primary account holder would call the company and give them your name, your social, your address to make sure that they can be added on. You can be added onto the card. But this is only going to help you because it can equally hurt you. It's only going to help you if they have a high credit limit. So ideally 5,000 or more. If you can get 20,000, even better. And longer age of history, meaning that they opened this card 3 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and that's what's going to boost your score. If they happen to not make their payments on time, that will equally affect you negatively, and late payments can drop your scores anywhere between 30 to 130 points. In addition to that, you want to make sure that they keep a very low utilization. And this goes for you as well on your primary cards. Utilization, you want that to be between 5 and 9%. So the way you calculate that is you take the credit limit, times it by 0.05 or 0.09, and that is what the balance should be on the payment due date. And then don't use the card until 1 day after the statement end date. Where do you find this? You go ahead and look at your bill, and then it'll show you payment due date and statement end date. So for those 5 days, you don't want to use the card at all. So that way it can post to the credit. I'll call them credit bureaus for now because that's what you primarily know them by. They'll post to the credit bureaus and it'll report a low utilization. You can still use your card up to the max if you'd like, but as long as during that small period that the utilization is down between that 5 and 9%, you're going to be in the best position utilization-wise. You also are going to want to have an auto loan on there. This is how to build a full credit profile. You can get an auto loan, or if you're not able to get approved for an auto loan, have somebody co-sign for you. But obviously make sure that you make your payments because, again, this will affect both of you. If there are 2 people on an account, it will affect both people. And if you're a parent and want to help build credit for your children, you can 100% do that. You can add more than 1 child on your credit card, in fact, to help them boost their credit. And then lastly is just inquiries. So for inquiries, they want to know that you're not shopping around too much. So ideally, you want to keep 5 inquiries or less. And these are called hard inquiries. These hard inquiries are authorized inquiries that you basically put in an application for and you got approved for the card or for the loan, and that's what remains on your credit report. Now, if there are inquiries on there that you didn't get approved for the card or for the loan or for the mortgage, you can take them off. All you would do is simply call the credit bureaus and let them know, hey, I didn't authorize this inquiry. Please remove it from my credit report. You may have to follow up with writing out a letter and mailing it into them, but those are going to be your 2 best methods of either clearing things on your credit, is going to be writing the letter and calling, or simply just calling and making sure that they update. If you have something less severe, if you're just updating a name and address and the inquiries, you can easily do a phone call without sending a letter. And then that's going to put you in the best position, to get approved for those loans for the homes.
And to a point you made there that I want to stress, something that severely benefited me when I was 18, 19 years old is my mom, for whatever reason, had put all of us chillins on a credit card account that she would use once a month, never racked up a balance on. She would pay something with it and then pay the card off immediately. So I woke up at 18 with a 792 credit score, walking into the bank, going to get a loan, thinking I'm about to get railed by the system. And I look at the loan officer and I'm like, hey, I know I don't have any credit here, but like, what can we do? And they pulled my social up, they pulled everything up, and they're like, actually, you have phenomenal credit, sir. And I'm like, how is that even possible? And like, well, you've been on this account for like 12 years. And I'm like, what? So for real, if you're a responsible person and you're not just getting it, do what?
Your mom's a good woman. She's a smart lady.
Oh, 100%. One of the best I've ever known. So seriously, you can, if you're a responsible individual, you can severely help your kids or severely hurt your kids. That's the flip side of that coin, is you don't want to mess with their credit too and put them behind the 8 ball, because then that stress will carry on generationally. But anyways, this has been such a wonderful episode, Dez. If people want to connect with you for more, or they want to find out what you're working on, where should they go for that?
You can go on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube and type in Dez Pena. If you want to go directly to, or Trillionaire Woman, either or, they'll both pop up. Or you can go ahead on my website to thetrillionairewoman.com.
Absolutely love it. What a phenomenal show. Alrighty, folks. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. We'll see you on the next episode. Thanks again for being here, Dez.
Thanks, Steven.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.